Tim Cook is stepping down as Apple's CEO after 15 years, and his replacement is an engineer, not a business executive, at the exact moment Apple is losing the AI race. DeepSeek just returned with V4, its most powerful model yet, built on Huawei chips, not NVIDIA, with 1.6 trillion parameters, a 1 million token context window, and pricing that undercuts every major Western model. And Anthropic ran a secret experiment called Project Deal, where AI agents negotiated and closed real transactions with real money and discovered something that should make every consumer deeply uncomfortable. 3 stories, all of them tell you something about where AI power is shifting right now. I'm Alex. This is The Read AI. Tim Cook became Apple's CEO in August 2011, the same month Steve Jobs resigned. He was handed a company worth roughly $300 billion. When he steps down on September 1st this year, he leaves behind a company worth $4 trillion. By any measure, that's one of the most successful CEO tenures in corporate history. And yet, the announcement landed with an undercurrent of urgency that Apple's carefully worded press release couldn't fully conceal. John Ternus, Apple's Senior Vice President of Hardware Engineering, takes over September 1st. He's 50 years old. He joined Apple in 2001. He oversaw the development of AirPods, the transition to Apple Silicon, the M-series chips, and successive generations of iPhone and Mac. He's been the person responsible for the physical hardware that Apple sells, the part of the company that actually works. The part that doesn't work is AI, and Cook's exit is inseparable from that failure. The WSJ profile of Ternus frames this clearly. Apple, under Cook, became the world's most valuable company by being exceptional at one thing: hardware products with tightly integrated software that people pay premium prices for and replace on a predictable cycle. iPhone, Mac, iPad, Watch, AirPods. That model generated extraordinary profits for 15 years. But AI broke that model. The value in AI doesn't accumulate in hardware. It accumulates in the software layer, the models, the platforms, the agents, and Apple has been consistently, embarrassingly behind on that layer. Siri is the most visible symptom. Despite spending over $1 billion on improvements, Siri remains the weakest AI assistant among any major tech company. Apple Intelligence, announced with significant fanfare in 2024, launched incomplete and has been playing catch-up ever since. While OpenAI's revenue tripled to $30 billion in 4 months and Anthropic launched Claude Design to challenge Figma, Apple is still trying to explain what its AI actually does. The hire of a U.S. Google executive to lead AI marketing, which we covered 2 weeks ago, was one signal of how serious the problem had become. Tim Cook's exit is a louder one. Ternus is not a software executive. He's not an AI researcher. He's a hardware engineer who spent 25 years at Apple making products that work. What his appointment signals is that Apple's board believes the solution to the AI problem runs through hardware, through the neural engine chips, through the on-device processing architecture, through the physical devices that AI needs to run on. That's a coherent bet. If the future of AI is ambient computing, agents running on devices you wear, carry, and use without thinking about them, then the company that controls the best hardware, the most trusted ecosystem, and the largest installed base of premium devices has a structural advantage that pure software companies can't easily replicate. But it's a long-term bet. And the short-term reality is that Apple is behind. Google has Gemini across every Android device and Chrome Surface. Microsoft has Copilot integrated into Windows and Office. Anthropic has Claude Code, Claude Design, and enterprise deployments growing faster than any company in the history of enterprise software. OpenAI has ChatGPT with 500 million weekly active users. Apple has an installed base of 2.2 billion active devices and an AI strategy that hasn't landed yet. Ternus inherits both of those facts simultaneously. The opportunity is enormous. The gap to close is real. Fortune noted something worth sitting with. 2026 is turning out to be one of the most seismic years for CEO transitions in modern corporate history. Greg Abel replaced Warren Buffett at Berkshire. Josh D'Amaro replaced Bob Iger at Disney. John Furner replaced Doug McMillon at Walmart. And now Ternus replaces Cook at Apple. In every case, the transition is happening at the same inflection point, the arrival of AI as a structural force that makes the previous playbook insufficient. Cook built the playbook that worked for 15 years. Ternus has to write the next one, with an AI gap to close and competitors who have been running for years. A year ago, DeepSeek R1 shocked Silicon Valley. A Chinese startup trained a model that matched OpenAI's performance at a fraction of the reported cost, sent NVIDIA stock down 17% in a single day, and forced every AI lab to reconsider its assumptions about what efficient AI development looks like. Then DeepSeek went quiet. No major releases for a year, just incremental updates while the world waited. On Friday, DeepSeek V4 arrived. V4 comes in two versions. V4 Flash is the smaller, faster model optimized for speed and cost. V4 Pro is the flagship, 1.6 trillion total parameters, 49 billion active at any given time through a mixture of experts architecture that only activates the parameters needed for each specific task. That makes it the largest open-weight model available by a significant margin, more than double the size of DeepSeek's previous V3 generation. The context window is 1 million tokens. That means an entire large code base or hundreds of pages of documents can be fed into a single prompt without truncation. For developers and enterprises working with complex systems, that's a practical advantage that directly affects what the model can actually do. On benchmarks, V4 Pro outperforms GPT 5.2 and Gemini 3.0 on reasoning tasks. It falls slightly behind GPT 5.4 and Gemini 3.1 Pro, what DeepSeek itself describes as a developmental trajectory trailing state-of-the-art frontier models by approximately 3 to 6 months. On coding benchmarks, V4's performance is described as comparable to GPT 5.4. On agentic tasks, the ability to operate autonomously and execute multi-step workflows, V4 Pro outperforms Claude Sonnet 4.5 and approaches Claude Opus 4.5. The pricing is where DeepSeek does what DeepSeek does. V4 Flash costs 14 cents per million input tokens. That undercuts GPT 5.4 Nano, Gemini 3.1 Flash, GPT 5.4 Mini, and Claude Haiku 4.5. V4 Pro costs $1.74 per million input tokens, undercutting Gemini 3.1 Pro, GPT 5.50, Claude Opus 4.7, and GPT 5.4. Frontier model performance at a fraction of frontier model prices. That's the same value proposition that made V3 and R1 disruptive. But the detail that matters most in this release isn't the benchmarks or the pricing, it's the chips. V4 runs on Huawei's Ascend 950 hardware. DeepSeek partnered with Huawei on the architecture specifically so V4 could run across Huawei's full SuperNode product line. That's a direct response to U.S. export controls that have restricted China's access to NVIDIA's most advanced chips. The significance is hard to overstate. DeepSeek's R1 was trained on NVIDIA hardware. V4 is the first major DeepSeek release optimized for domestic Chinese chips. If V4 performs at the level DeepSeek claims, and early testing from researchers suggests it does, then China has demonstrated it can produce frontier-competitive AI models without relying on NVIDIA. That changes the strategic calculation behind U.S. chip export controls. The policy assumption has been that restricting access to NVIDIA's H100 and H200 chips would slow China's AI development. DeepSeek V4 is a data point suggesting that assumption may have been wrong, or at the minimum, that the window it was designed to create is closing faster than expected. Both models are open source, available on Hugging Face and through DeepSeek's API, and they arrived one day after OpenAI released GPT 5.5, a timing that felt deliberate.
The White House took notice. The same week V4 launched, Michael Kratzios, the White House chief science and technology advisor, accused foreign companies, primarily based in China, of conducting industrial-scale campaigns to distill U.S. frontier AI models. Anthropic and OpenAI have both accused DeepSeek of distillation, training on the outputs of Western companies to improve their own models. DeepSeek has denied using synthetic data from U.S. companies. China's embassy called the accusations unjustified suppression. Whether DeepSeek distilled from Western models or built independently, V4 is competitive, and it runs on Huawei chips. That combination makes the geopolitical dimension of this release more significant than the technical one.
Anthropic ran an experiment called Project Deal. They don't talk about it much, but what they've found deserves more attention than it's getting. Here's what they did. They built a classified marketplace, a test economy where AI agents represented both buyers and sellers, real goods, real money. 69 Anthropic employees, each given $100 in budget, paid out via gift cards to buy things from their coworkers. The agents negotiated on their behalf. The results, 186 deals closed, over $4,000 in total value transacted. The marketplace worked. AI agents successfully negotiated real economic transactions between humans without the humans needing to engage directly. Anthropic ran 4 separate versions of the marketplace simultaneously. 1 was real. Deals were honored after the experiment. 3 were controlled variants for study. The finding that matters came from comparing outcomes across different model tiers. When users were represented by more advanced models, they got objectively better outcomes, better prices, better deals, more value extracted from negotiations. That part is expected. Better AI performs better. Here's the part that wasn't expected. Users didn't notice the difference. The people represented by weaker agents, the ones who got worse deals, had no idea they were at a disadvantage. They didn't know their agent was less capable. They walked away thinking they'd negotiated normally. Anthropic named this directly, agent quality gaps, a situation where people on the losing end of an AI-mediated transaction don't realize they're worse off because they never saw the negotiation, they just saw the outcome, and they had no way to evaluate whether a better outcome was possible. Now, think about what that means at scale. AI on AI commerce isn't a hypothetical. It's the direction every major platform is moving. Airlines use AI to set prices dynamically. Insurance companies use AI to evaluate claims. Banks use AI to approve loans and set rates. Retailers use AI to negotiate supplier contracts. The consumers and small businesses on the other side of those transactions increasingly won't have AI representation at all, or will have weaker AI than the institutions they're dealing with. And as Project Deal demonstrated, they won't know they're losing. The outcome will feel normal. The negotiation will feel fair. The gap will be invisible. Anthropic published this openly, which deserves credit. They called it a pilot experiment with a self-selected participant pool and were careful not to overclaim. But the framing they used, the possibility of agent quality gaps at scale, is the honest articulation of a structural inequality that's about to become embedded in how economies work. The question of who gets access to the best AI agents and who gets to know the quality of the agent representing them is going to be one of the defining consumer protection issues of the next decade. Anthropic had 69 participants and $4,000 in transactions. The real version of this will have billions of participants and trillions in transactions, and most of the people on the losing end won't know it. 3 stories today, all of them about power shifting in ways that aren't fully visible yet. Apple's new CEO is an engineer taking over at the moment AI makes software the most valuable layer, and the company that controlled the most valuable hardware layer for 15 years has to figure out how those 2 facts fit together. DeepSeek returned with a model that runs on Huawei chips, undercuts every Western competitor on price, and performs within 3 to 6 months of the frontier, raising serious questions about what U.S. export controls are actually buying. And Anthropic's Project Deal found that AI-mediated commerce works, deals close, and the people represented by weaker AI lose without knowing it.
The shift in all three stories is the same. The advantages that accumulate from better AI are starting to become invisible to the people on the wrong side of them. Better hardware, better chips, better agents. The gap exists. The gap compounds. Most people can't see it. That's the story of AI in 2026, not the demos, the invisible gaps. Subscribe to the Read AI for just the stories that actually matter. Drop a comment. Which of these three concerns you most? Apple's AI gap under a new CEO? DeepSeek running frontier AI on Huawei chips? Or Anthropic's finding that people don't know when their AI agent is losing? I want to know. Share this with someone who thinks AI is still just about chatbots. I'm Alex. I'll catch you in the next one.